Alright, what's up guys? This is my second video here about my collections. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my United States typeset. This is probably one of my longest going collections and one of my biggest goals for collecting. So I figured I'd share that with you early on here. If you do enjoy this video, please leave a like, leave me a comment what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, what you want to see next. That's really all I had to say in this intro. I'm just excited to show you guys this, so let's jump right into it. So here we have my United States typeset. This is a Dansko album. There are lots of brands that make US typeset albums, though it is somewhat difficult to find because a lot of them are out of production for some reason. Some brands that make them are Dansko, there's Whitman, Lighthouse, and there's several other ones too. Just look up a United States typeset and you should be able to find one that you're looking for. Alright, so let's jump right into it. As you can see here, the first page of my US typeset is all pennies. The half cents and large cents are what's considered obsolete currency, which basically just means that they're not used in circulation today. Also, I do apologize if it's hard to see some of these. I know I'm kind of experimenting with the angle here and the lighting makes it kind of hard with the glare to see some of these coins, but I'll do my best to make sure you guys can see them as clearly as possible. So the first coin that I have in my typeset is a classic head large cent, as you can see right here. This coin is extremely old. As you can see, they were minted from 1808 to 1814, so it's quite hard to see this one. It's pretty slick. This penny that I have is actually an 1808, so it is the first year issue. It's just very hard to tell. You can also check out my Instagram, ryan.coins. On there I post pictures of these coins that are a little bit easier to see the details in, and I will usually give a brief explanation as to the history of the coin as well. Alright, next up we have small cents. I have a lot more of those than the large cents. My first one that I have is this Indian head copper nickel oak wreath. This was the first iteration of the Indian head cent and was minted from 1860 to 1864, just for 4 years. As you can see, it's a very cool design. You actually can find these in the wild, and by the wild I mean out in circulation. Like, you can find these still at banks and penny rolls and things like that. It's very rare, but you can find them, and they're very cool looking coins. Next small cent after that is another Indian head cent right here. This one's not in as good of condition, so I'm sorry if it's hard to see. These were the majority of Indian head cents. They were minted with the normal copper content that a Lincoln cent used to have as well. So that's what changed between the copper nickel oak wreath and the bronze oak wreath Indian head cents. Alright, next up we have the Lincoln Head 1909 VDB. This was the very first year the Lincoln cent was minted, and that being the Lincoln wheat cent prior to the common Lincoln Memorial cent. These are called VDB cents because the first year that they were minted, the initials VDB were put on the bottom of the reverse of the coin, and this was to signify the person who designed this coin, which was Victor David Brenner. He was the one that designed the wheat cent, which replaced the Indian head cent. Next up, we have the Lincoln Head wheat cent. This is just the same coin as the VDB cent, except without the VDB initials on the reverse. Don't worry, I will show you guys the reverse of these coins in a minute. It's just I have to flip the page, so I'll show you them all at once so you can see the difference between these coins. The next coin we have is a very interesting one actually. It's the Lincoln Head steel cent, only minted in 1943. For this year, these cents were made out of steel because World War II was happening at this time. Copper was a very essential resource needed for making military equipment as well as ammo. So in order to help the military effort, they took all copper from penny production and started making Lincoln Head cents out of steel. And last but not least, for the small cents, we have the Lincoln Head Memorial cent, which is the modern cent. Of course, now it is a Lincoln Head Shield cent from I think 2011 and beyond, but this is the one that you're probably most familiar with. Next up is another piece of obsolete coinage, a 2-cent piece. A lot of people don't know about this one because it was only minted for a short period of time. These pieces were minted from 1864 to 1872, and also in 1873 for collector's purposes. This coin was minted during the Civil War. A lot of people used to hoard their coins during the Civil War, as the coins made back then were made with real precious metals and did hold natural value basically, whereas now they don't really. So this was just kind of a method of playing it safe, not really sure what's going to happen after the war, so they want to hold on to things that actually hold value despite whatever may be happening in a country. And the last coin on this page is the 3-cent piece. I don't have the silver one, I just have the nickel one. This was the second iteration of the 3-cent piece. This coin was specifically made because in 1851, when the first one was made, the price of stamps had been lowered from 5 cents to 3 cents. This coin was produced to help make it easier for people to pay for stamps with one simple small denomination coin. Now here is the back of the large cent I have. These are the backs of the 2 Indian head cents I have, the VDB cent, as well as the normal wheat cent. Here are the backs of the 1943 steel cent, as well as the modern memorial cent. And then finally the backs of the 2-cent piece and the 3-cent nickel piece. Alright, so next page, we move on to half dimes, nickels, and dimes. As you can see, half dimes were what was used before nickels came around. These half dimes are another form of obsolete coinage, as we don't use them today. So first up, we have my one and only half dime. It is an 1854 Liberty seated half dime. These coins were also made out of silver. Next up, we have nickels. This is my first nickel in my collection, and this is the first design ever for the nickel as a coin, and it is the shield nickel. From there, my next nickel would be the Liberty head. Mine is a 1909. As you can see, it says cents below the description there, and the one to the left says no cents. Basically, what happened with the first iteration with no cents is there is a giant V on the back of this design of nickels. That's obviously to signify that this is a 5-cent coin. However, the first iteration of this coin did not say cents explicitly on the coin. This actually led to a common problem of people gold plating them and selling them as $5 coins for extra money. In order to combat this, they came out with the Liberty Head Cents nickel, which is the same design, but it has the word cents on the back. That way it was a lot harder to scam people saying this was a $5 coin. The last 2 nickels that I have are a Buffalo nickel and a modern Jefferson nickel. Alright, moving on to dimes, which I actually have quite a few of those. I don't really have too much to say about my dimes. There's not a whole lot of interesting facts about them that I know right off the top of my head. But as you can see right here, these are my first 2 dimes. A Liberty seated, which was minted between 1860 and 1891, and a Liberty head from 1892 to 1916. For those of you who don't know, Liberty head or Liberty seated, all of those design names and the people on these coins, when it says Liberty, it's just referring to Lady Liberty. This is just a symbolic woman representing America. Oftentimes it can be equated to the Statue of Liberty and things like that. This was just a figure that they used before they really had famous people that they wanted to put on their coins. Next up is the Mercury dime. This is one of my favorite coins in all of American history, honestly. It's a very beautiful coin. This coin is actually featuring Lady Liberty on the obverse as well. However, the reason that most people call it a Mercury dime is that a lot of people confused this image with the Roman god Mercury because of the wings on the helmet. So yeah, that's what led to it having its common name of the Mercury dime. And my last 2 dimes are Roosevelt dimes, the modern ones you guys are used to. The one on the left is just a silver version, whereas the one on the right is a modern clad version. Another FYI for anybody who doesn't know, pretty much all silver colored coins used to be made out of actual silver, and all of those coins that were silver were made of 90% silver. When you hear the word clad, that refers to a copper-clad modern coin. Basically what that means is modern coins are usually made out of copper because it's much cheaper. However, they have to plate it with zinc or some other metal to give it the color that it's supposed to have that you're used to. Here you can see the reverse of the half dime. Many of the old coins just said their denomination's worth on the reverse, as you can see here. Next after that, we have the reverse of the shield nickel with a 5 there. And over here you can see the Liberty Head nickel, which is also commonly referred to as the Liberty V nickel due to the V on the back. And you can see, like I was saying before, it says cents underneath. Next up we have the reverse of my Buffalo nickel. As you can see, that's why it gets the name. It has a buffalo on the reverse. And the modern Jefferson nickel with Monticello on the reverse. And here you can see the reverses of all my dimes at once. Going from left to right, the leftmost is the Liberty Seated, next is the Liberty Head, then the Mercury dime, and then the Silver Roosevelt dime, and then the modern clad Roosevelt dime. Alright, next up, we can turn the page. Now we're moving on to quarters and half dollars. I know you're probably looking at that 20-cent piece and wondering what that is. I don't actually have one of those yet, but I will definitely be sure to go into more detail about them when I do acquire one for my collection. As you can see, I don't have too many of the quarters for this section, though I do have a few, so I'll let you look at those more in depth. Here is my 1908 Liberty Head quarter. Again, I don't have too much to say about my quarters, very similarly to the dimes, but yeah, these are very, very beautiful coins. And next after the Liberty Head, we have the modern quarters you guys are used to, the Washington quarters. Again, similar to the dimes, the one on the left is made of 90% silver, and the one on the right is copper clad like all modern quarters. Moving on to half dollars. Here is my $1.50 on this page, the Liberty Head half dollar. Half dollars are among some of the most sought after US coins to collect, being that they are made of 90% silver and are some of the biggest coins in US history. They just hold more natural value as they just have more silver content. Here you can see the reverse of the Liberty Head quarter I showed you guys. And then over here you can see the reverse of the silver Washington quarter and the copper clad Washington quarter. The silver one being on the left and the copper clad one being on the right. And last here is the Liberty Head half dollar reverse. Very similar to the quarters reverse as well. Alright, so we're going to be turning the page again. The half dollar section does continue on the next page, so I do have a few more. Alright, here we have half dollars, commemorative half dollars, and silver dollars. This is probably going to be the most exciting page to most people, as these are coins that people like to collect the most often. So first up, we'll start with half dollars. The first one I have here is my 1944 Liberty Walking half dollar. Once again, Liberty just meaning this is Lady Liberty featured here on the coin. Next up after that one, we have the Franklin half dollar. Yes, Benjamin Franklin was featured on a piece of US coinage. A lot of people don't know about this one, and I actually have one that's in very good condition. Next after that is what is probably, honestly, my favorite American coin. I don't know why, it's probably the reverse, honestly. The reverse is really interesting to me. But this is the Kennedy half dollar. This is what is also still minted today as the current half dollar design. Similar to the quarters and dimes, we have just a silver version on the left and a clad version on the right. This coin was minted in 90% silver only in 1964, and from 1965 to 1970, they were actually minted in 40% silver as well. So the one I have here is a 1968, so that one actually is 40% silver. Now moving on to commemorative half dollars. I only have two right now. There's actually a lot of commemorative half dollars made throughout US history. This one right here is actually the first commemorative half dollar that was ever minted in the United States, and it is a commemorative half dollar for Christopher Columbus. This coin was minted in 1892, and this was the year marking the 400th anniversary of when Christopher Columbus first sailed to the Americas. My only other commemorative half dollar right now is this one right here. This is a World War II V-Day commemorative half dollar. This coin was minted to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the victory we had in World War II. I just find this coin very cool because it has military vehicles and things like that on a coin, which you hardly ever see, so I did find that very interesting. Once again, I will show you guys the reverse of these coins at the end of this page. Next up, we have silver dollars. These are some of the most collected and most sought after coins in all of US currency collecting. We'll start here with the Morgan dollar. This coin once again features Lady Liberty on the front here. However, it gets its name because it was designed by someone named George T. Morgan. This coin specifically is most people's favorite piece of US currency ever made. Let me know what you guys think about this coin in the comments. Next we have the peace dollar. This dollar coin got its name because it was meant to commemorate the peace after World War I. Once again, this just features Lady Liberty on the obverse of the coin. And the last of the large silver dollars ever made was the Eisenhower dollar, named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower. This coin, specifically right here, is copper clad, as these coins were not minted for circulation in 90% silver like the other ones were. However, there are ways of getting silver content Eisenhower dollars, one of which I will be showing you on the next page actually. Alright, so here are the reverses of the coins I just showed you. On the left is the reverse of the Liberty Walking half dollar. On the right is the reverse of the Franklin half dollar featuring the Liberty Bell. And then on the right we have the reverse of the Kennedy half dollars. This is probably my favorite reverse of any coin in all of US history. Next up after that we have the commemorative half dollar for Christopher Columbus. As you can see, it was minted in 1892, and 1492 was the year that he first traveled to the Americas, so it is the 400-year anniversary that they are commemorating with this coin. Next after that we have the reverse of the Victory Day commemorative half dollar. This is also a proof coin, and for those of you who don't know, a proof coin is one that has a mirrored background like this. These coins are not minted for circulation and are specifically minted for collectors. They make it a lot easier to look at the small details on coins as well. Next up we have half dollar reverses. This right here is the reverse of the Morgan dollar. To the right we have the reverse of the peace dollar. And to the right of that we have the reverse of the Eisenhower dollar. All of them featuring the bald eagle on the reverse. Alright, and we're moving on now to our final page in my US typeset, that being the modern coinage page. So first up, we have the bicentennial coinage. These are all iterations of coins that were in circulation during the time, made specifically for the 200-year anniversary of the United States being founded. As you can see on the bottom of all of these coins, it says 1776 to 1976. So these are 1976 versions of these coins that are just different due to the fact that it's the 200-year anniversary. All three of these coins are also minted in 40% silver, as they did mint some of these coins with silver content again to mark the anniversary. Moving on to the modern US coinage. Right here we have some modern dollar coins, as well as a 50-state commemorative quarter. First up we have the Susan B. Anthony dollar. These were actually minted only from 1979 to 1981, and then again just in 1999. Right here I have a 1999 Susan B. Anthony, as that was the year I was born, so I found that one to be a bit special for me. Next up we have the modern golden looking Sacagawea dollar coin. These coins do not actually have any gold content inside of them and get their golden color from zinc. Next up we have a proof actually of a 50-state commemorative quarter. From 1999 to 2008, quarters were minted with a reverse for each state in the United States. This was primarily done just to give collectors something to collect and a reason to be searching through coins. This one specifically is the Florida 50-state commemorative quarter, because I am from Florida, so I decided that would be a good one to put in this spot. And next up after that, we have a commemorative dollar coin. This is a 50-year commemorative dollar coin to commemorate D-Day in World War II. This coin was actually minted alongside the V-Day coin I showed you guys earlier, the commemorative half dollar, as a set. This is one of my favorite coins. It's a very beautiful design and a very large coin as well. And I'll show you guys the reverse in just a second. Alright, the last coin in my US typeset is an American Silver Eagle. These coins began production in 1986 and are still being produced today. They are made out of 99.9% silver and were created kind of as a way for people to still hoard silver as a form of investment, since all modern coins are not made of silver or any actual valuable metals anymore. These can also be referred to as 1 ounce silver rounds, as they weigh 1 ounce, and pretty much every major country in the entire world has a version of this 1 ounce silver round with their own design on it. This is another side collection I actually am kind of working on, just trying to collect some of my favorite silver rounds from different countries around the world. Here you can see the reverses of the bicentennial coins I showed you before. Here's the reverse of the bicentennial quarter. This is the reverse of the bicentennial Kennedy half dollar. This features Independence Hall on the back, which is where the Declaration of Independence was signed. And here is the reverse of the Eisenhower dollar coin, featuring the Liberty Bell and the moon in the background. Next up, we have the reverse of the Susan B. Anthony dollar here, featuring the bald eagle. Next, we have the reverse of the Sacagawea modern dollar coin, featuring another image of a bald eagle soaring on the back. And finally here we have the reverse of the 50-state commemorative quarter. This is the Florida one. It features a galleon ship as well as the space shuttle and a tropical island with palm trees on the back. Finally here we have our commemorative D-Day dollar coin here. It features a motivational quote from Dwight D. Eisenhower as well. And last but not least, we have the American Silver Eagle reverse. This reverse actually just changed recently, the past few years, so I do want to get my hands on a modern one so you guys can see that new reverse. However, I do think this is probably the coolest reverse of the American Silver Eagles. So there you have it. That is my whole US typeset. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching all the way through. I'm really enjoying putting these together, so there will definitely be more videos in the future. Once again, if you did enjoy this video and if you made it this far, please leave a like or subscribe. It does help out quite a bit. If there's anything you'd like to see me change or anything you'd like to request, or if you just want to talk to me about your collections or anything you're interested in, just leave a comment below. I do reply to every single comment, so please leave a comment below. Start that conversation, and I'd love to have some more in-depth talks with you guys about this video, about future videos, and anything you might collect or want to talk about. Alright, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.